Well, Ruby and I are in the Smoky Mountains and homeless. This morning we dropped off the trailer at the dealership to be serviced. The main issue is some seals on the roof have cracked and are separating, and they need to fix those. There's a few other things as well. My toilet started leaking a couple days ago, which was kind of good timing since I was coming here anyway. They're going to do some general maintenance and inspections. They're going to take care of greasing my wheel bearings, so I don't have to worry about that because it's due. So while it's here, they can just take care of everything. I'm hoping to get it back by the end of the week. Today is Monday, so I think by Friday. In the meantime, I have no plans because I don't know how long it's going to be. So today, I'm literally living in the truck because I have nowhere to go. Got everything I need. I don't know if I'm getting a cabin, a hotel. I was considering even just getting a campsite and tent camping for at least one night, maybe a couple nights. I actually have to work this afternoon. I only took the morning off to do this. And so I'm gonna just find a place to park and do some work. But I'm not sure where I'm going. So I'm gonna eat this lunch and then we're gonna figure it out. I would like a better place to work than the Bojangles parking lot. So I think we might just find something scenic and then go do that. Do some work and figure out where we're sleeping tonight, because I really don't want to sleep in my truck on the side of the road. And that's where we're at right now. How you doing, Ruby? Stay at that KOA there. They usually have tent campsites. I mean, that's not as nice as going off into a more woodsy area, but it sure would be convenient. It's going to be an awful lot cheaper than a cabin or even a hotel. I did look at some like tiny cabins, and there were some that were pretty cheap, but it's still going to be not comparable to a campsite. I just don't know if I'm realistically going to want to do a campsite for more than one night. Given my sort of lack of preparedness, despite how much stuff I tried to cram into this truck, I don't really have some things I might normally have with me for extended camping. In fact, I don't really have any cookware or anything like that. I don't have like an ice chest or sort of fridge. I'd really be dependent on eating out probably, but I guess that would still be cheaper than getting a hotel, so it might work, especially that campground we're right here in town. It might work. Alright, well, this isn't perfect because I'm on quite a slope here to the side. So it's not the most comfortable, but it's definitely going to work. And I need to get to work. So this is where we're at for the next few hours. I've also never used the internet in the truck. In fact, I don't think I've ever plugged in anything to the truck's AC outlet. So I guess I'm really leaving a lot up to chance this week. And you know what? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But hopefully it works. Okay, this is not a good sign. This should not be taking this long to turn on, but I don't really know why it would not work. Oh. We're good. Excellent reception. T-Mobile internet has been really awesome. I had Starlink originally, and then I stayed at a campgrounds where the trees were too tall. So I ended up getting T-Mobile. That was when I was in Michigan in September last year. And I got T-Mobile that first day because I had to work. So I had to take the morning off to go to a T-Mobile and pick up a router. If you're on the east side of the country, I definitely recommend T-Mobile, probably over Starlink, just because Starlink's too limiting with the trees. And there's been a lot of places that I've stayed that I couldn't have stayed with Starlink because there were trees. And probably when I head out west, I'll use that more. The Starlink, the service is just paused right now, so I'm not paying both. T-Mobile's about the same price. And yeah, definitely recommend. Alright, my work day is done. I've been looking for campgrounds. There's really not a lot of tent camping around here that I can find. There's a ton of RV parks. All the ones I looked at really don't allow tent camping at all. I did find one in Sevierville. I tried to call them a few minutes ago and nobody answered, and they don't allow late reservations online. So I'm just gonna drive that way and try to call them again. So we're gonna hit the road and head back that way and try to find our spot for the night. That KOA back in Pigeon Forge does have tent campsites. They only had like 3 sites though, I think, and they were available. But they were $75 a night for a tent site with electric and water. And that seems kind of steep, considering that's a lot more than I pay on average for an RV site. So, I don't know, maybe they're the greatest tent sites in the world, but I don't really think that's worth it. Alright, we've gone a little bit off the rails here. I went to that campground in Sevierville and there was no one there. There was an office that was closed and I didn't see anywhere else that I could check in. So I don't know if they really just closed that early or maybe they only take calls. I don't know. It didn't work out. So I'm scrambling a little bit and we may end up in a hotel. I think that's kind of the last resort at this point. Still trying to find a place to pitch a tent. It really seems like it should be easier. Well, this turned into a lot more of a struggle than I expected. I called about 4 places that didn't answer the phone. The last one that was really available was the KOA back in Pigeon Forge, and they did answer the phone. Say what you want about KOA and their prices and everything, but they are reliable. That is for sure. It won't be the ideal campsite. It's a little bit of a crowded campground. I could tell just driving past it. But it'll be a site and a place where I can sleep tonight. and you don't have a mallet, crescent wrench does pretty good. So once I finish setting up, I need to run to the store because it's going to be cold tonight. I have a propane heater, but I don't have propane. And I think I'm going to go ahead and get a tarp and put it under here. This ground's pretty flat, but there's some sharp rocks. And I wasn't too worried about the tent, but I am worried about it going through the tent and popping my sleeping pad. Good morning. So last night we went out to Home Depot and got dinner, and then came back and pretty much crashed after eating. It was a long day. It was a good night though, slept well. It's pretty comfortable in here. I ended up getting this foam pad to put under the air pad, and I think that was a good decision. Gave it a little bit more padding and kept that air pad safe. And that air pad is super comfortable. Definitely recommend one of those. It was way better than I expected. Got down about 40 degrees. It wasn't too bad in here. I have a propane heater, but I didn't really run it during the night. I just turned it on this morning to take the chill out of here. Ruby had her big bed from the truck, which I think she was pretty comfortable with, and tried to keep the blanket over all night. So it's pretty good. We're actually gonna stay here again tonight. Still couldn't find another tent campground, so just gonna keep doing this. Still waiting to hear from the dealership today, and then hopefully can make a little bit of a more solid plan. Today just gonna be working mainly, and then making a plan after we hear from the dealer. Good morning. Well, second night here was pretty good. Yesterday was mostly uneventful. Did not get a call yesterday from the dealership, so I'm gonna have to call them this morning and try to figure out what's going on there. But I think this is our last day at the KOA, and today we're gonna move. I did find a couple other RV parks with tent sites that look better, about the same price, but just not so crowded. So I think we're gonna stick with the tent and just go over there and try to get away from this chaos a little bit. I was expecting a call yesterday with updates, so I just wanted to see what's going on with it. Alright, well, whether I'm RV camping or tent camping, I seem to always leave about 1 minute past checkout time. We got about 3 hours until check-in time at the next place. So I'm gonna have to find a place to hang out until then. And I think I might just go to the gym. This is just gonna be kind of a lunch break from work while we get that done. And then I'll spend some more time working out of the truck until check-in. That was not the most fun tent camping experience, to be honest. See, this morning they started construction on the cabin behind me. I called the RV dealership this morning, left a message because my service advisor wasn't there, and that's 2 calls I made that weren't answered. So at a certain point I might end up just driving down there because it's not that far, and talking to somebody because I need to know what's going on. But in the meantime, I booked 2 nights at this next campsite, and it's an RV park again, and I guess it had like 2 sites that were for tents, so it's basically going to be like an RV site but with a tent, which I think will be a lot nicer because it should be a little bit more spacious and more of what I'm used to. So hopefully this one works out better, and it's a little bit it's not like right in the middle of town. It should be a lot quieter. Alright, I just got done with the gym. I still haven't heard from the RV dealership, so I think I'm going to drive up there because it's just right down the road from here, and just try to talk to somebody because I just want to know what's going on with this thing, try to get some idea of when it might be done. I just walked into the dealership and talked to the service advisor and made me feel a little bit better. They're wrapping up the maintenance stuff that they were having to do. The roof issue, they said, is not bad, really. Like, they said it's not a leak issue, but it will get worse, so they are still going to fix that. But it sounds like at this point, Friday would be the soonest, and possibly dragging into next week now. So I'm really just hoping that doesn't happen. We're about to head to the next campgrounds. I've got that booked until Friday. So if I don't have my trailer back by then, probably gonna find a different accommodation. I don't really want to stay. I don't really want to keep staying in the tent through the whole weekend. It just makes it hard to do anything. My stuff, I don't want to leave out unsecured for a long time. And I'm having to go out to eat because I don't have a way to store food or anything. So I can enjoy the weekend more if I get a more permanent sort of lodging. Right now I'm gonna go pick up lunch from somewhere and then head over to the campgrounds and get set up. Alright, well, this is 1,000 times better than the KOA. This site's a little small, but there's hardly anyone here, so I think it'll be fine. Well, it took some effort, but I got the tent set up. This is not really meant as a tent site. This is an RV park. They have 2 sites that they normally use for tents. And when I got here, she said that the one I booked had ants on it. So she moved me to one of the regular RV sites. This is a lot nicer than what the other tent site would have been. So I'm pretty happy with that. The only problem is it was a pain to get the tent stakes in to the gravel here. The gravel is really thick. One of them I fought with it for quite a while and never could get it in. So we got 3 stakes in. I think it'll be alright though, because it's pretty windy right now. And this thing's not going anywhere even when it's empty. So probably just giving up on that one. morning. It is day 4 now. It's Thursday. This campground is much better to wake up to, although there's some road construction going on, so it actually was pretty noisy starting at about 7 a.m. Didn't really stop me from sleeping in though. Didn't stop Ruby from sleeping in either. I think today's going to be a pretty uneventful day. Just got a full work day ahead of me. Should be a little bit easier to do that here, less distractions than the KOA had. I think we'll just go sit outside of the picnic table all day, I guess. The only problem today is that it's getting pretty hot now. I think it's going to be in the 70s today. The tent is already feeling pretty warm, so we're going to have to get out of here. I'm going to go jump in a shower. The main building here is really nice. There's several private bathrooms. You stretching? You get some stretching in? Yeah, the main building here has several bathrooms, like private bathrooms that are really nice and clean. So definitely looking forward to that after being at the KOA a couple days. Yeah, should be pretty comfortable a couple days here. You found a stick, Roo? You can eat the stick? Okay. It is Friday. Yesterday was kind of rough, to be honest. Didn't do much, just spent the day working. But it was really hot. There was not much shade. And stupidly, I was not drinking a lot of water. So I ended up just getting really overheated. Had a pretty bad headache by the afternoon. And just kind of went and laid down early. But I was just feeling so hot that I had to go get in the truck, turn on the AC, and ended up sleeping there last night. Feeling better this morning. But today it's gonna rain. I think it's gonna rain this evening, so we're gonna get out of here. And I think 4 days in a tent has been enough. I was feeling pretty confident that I could get through the weekend just staying here, but yeah, after yesterday and with the weather coming, I think a hotel's gonna be better. Just make the weekend more enjoyable. I got a call from the dealership late yesterday, but I missed the call and called them right back, but then didn't get an answer. So hopefully this morning we'll see what updates they have. But I do think the trailer's going to be there until Monday at this point. Also, I think it got kind of interesting last night. I was climbing out of the tent to go get in the truck, and a car was driving down the road and kind of pulled in here and was just sitting for a minute. And then I heard a noise in the woods, and I looked over where their headlights were shining, and there was a pretty big black bear right over there, just on the other side of the creek there. Just wandered over, ended up walking off behind the main building here. I wasn't really concerned about black bears, but this one seemed pretty unbothered by me being here, so that was a little bit more motivation to stay in the truck last night, I guess. Well, anyway, it's about 8 a.m. and I'm just gonna go ahead and get out of here so that I can start work from the truck today, and then we'll get a hotel this afternoon and hopefully enjoy the weekend a little bit. So I pulled into this shopping center here just to stop for a while. Got some breakfast and doing some work this morning. I just heard back from the RV dealer, and I can go pick up my trailer this afternoon. So I'm super excited about that. I did not book a hotel yet. I was waiting to hear from them. And so now I'm gonna go and pivot and book an RV site for the weekend, or for, I don't know how long yet, probably just next week. I don't know, I gotta make a plan now because I don't even know where I'm going after this. So I'm gonna go figure that out. It is gonna be an expensive repair. I didn't end up getting the warranty to cover anything. So they fixed the roof. They greased my wheel bearings for me. They adjusted the slides. I'm not exactly sure even what that entails, honestly, but the manual says to do it every year. So I was like, take care of this for me. They did an inspection that just keeps my warranty active. It's a third-party warranty that came with the purchase through this dealership, and that just keeps that active. I have to do that every year. They fixed the toilet. I had a leak in the foot pedal of the toilets. Brinkley declined to cover the roof. They said that was just a maintenance item. The dealership said it wasn't even that bad anyway, but just wanted to get that fixed before it gets worse. The leaky toilets, the service advisor says that Brinkley almost certainly would cover that under warranty. However, that drags out the process, and he said if he had submitted it to Brinkley, but he was still waiting to hear back, I believe. And he basically said if we want to continue trying to get Brinkley to cover that, then they were gonna have to keep the trailer till Monday. And the last item I told them was the wet bolts on the suspension. I had greased those a few days ago, but there were 3 that wouldn't take grease. So I told them about that and asked them to see if they could grease those. They could not. So I don't know what's wrong with those bolts. So they were gonna look into replacing those, but again, it would have been a Brinkley warranty thing that was gonna take longer. So they're just not gonna fix those. They said it would not really be a short-term problem. And if I wanna just wait till next year when I bring it back for the warranty inspection again, they can fix it at that time. I think all the critical stuff is taken care of, even though there's some added expense. And overall, just happy to get the trailer back, with the roof fixed, and get back on the road. So that's the main concern for me. So I'm just gonna keep sitting here until they call me, I think. And then we're gonna go pick up the trailer and get to our next campsite. All right, we got the RV back, and that is going to be the end of the repairs for now. And I think it'll be the end of this video. Ruby and I have another 8 days here at this campground in Pigeon Forge, and then we'll be off. Not sure where yet, but we're going to enjoy this week, and see you guys next time.